Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Pranams. Okay, we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayate. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा welcome you all for Bhagavatam study. We are reading Canto 1, Chapter 7, Son of Drona Punished. Text 31 today, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So who is going to read 31?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Amataji.
Is assigned to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji, this, can
Drishvatra tejastutayos त्रिलोकान् प्रधानमहात् दयामयानः प्रजः सर्वः सर्वान्तका अमांसतः by divine grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay. Translation. All populations of the three worlds are scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samavartaka fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation. Purport. The three worlds are the upper, lower, and intermediate planets of the universe. Although the Brahmastra were released on this earth, the heat produced by the combination of both weapons covered all the universe, and all the populations on all the different planets began to feel the heat excessively and compared it with that of the Samavartaka fire. No planet is therefore without living beings, as less intelligent, materialistic men think.
Hare Krishna. Any points you want to share, Mataji?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So here Ashwatthama's Brahmastra was released. So Arjuna could see the heat. So explains all the population, three worlds were scorched with the combined heat of weapons. So when Brahmastra released, the kind of a heat created is so much that three worlds, upper, middle, and lower. So when talk about upper, middle, lower, I'll just show you the one screen. What are those worlds? Second. Yeah. You can see the screen. Everybody can see, right? The 14 planetary systems, 7 upper planetary systems, Satyaloka, the abode of Brahma, Tapaloka, the abode of the 4 Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumaras, Janaloka, the abode of Navayogendras, the 9 ancient sages, King Nemi and others, Maharloka, the abode of Bhrigu Muni and others, Swargaloka, the abode of demigods, headed by Indra, king of heaven. So generally when we talk, somebody passed away. He says went to Swargastaradaru. So this is the loka we are talking about. Generally, when people say Swarga, whereas above that there is the planet system, and on the top is Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. Then Bhurloka, the abode of Pitris and Purushas. So this is the Bhurloka is the where the Pitris are going to stay. So other day we were discussing how when we perform Shraddha ceremony, how that Jiva, the soul gets, this is the Devatas in Pitraloka, they do that job. Bhuloka is the planet of Earth where we are living. That is the Bhuloka. Then the lower planet systems, Atala, the abode of Bhalademon, Vitala, the abode of Titikeshwara, Sutala, Talatala, Maharloka, and Rasatala and Pataloka. These are the different subplanet systems mentioned here. This one planet is like this, and millions of planet systems in the one universe. We are talking about the millions of universes, but coming from Mahavishnu. This is only one planet system in the one universe. So this is the planet system. So when Ashwatthama's Brahmastra released, the whole three world, upper, middle, and middle is generally considered Bhuloka, all got the heat. So it's not just Earth alone. So that is the power of the Brahmastra. So it's in the example given that the reminder of a Samvartaka fire. The Samvartaka fire comes at the time of annihilation. So sometimes people say that the earth will be annihilated, the pralaya will happen. So no, there is a system in the Shastras when pralaya will happen. The complete pralaya will happen at the one day of Brahma. The one this happens, and at the end of Brahma's lifetime, complete everything goes. So even that one day of Brahma is millions of years. It's not even few thousands years. At least 4,300,000 years. That's the time the Pralaya's time. So if somebody says end of Kali Yuga, it's going to happen. No, Kali Yuga is even the end of the Kali Yuga itself another 400 years left, 427,000 years left. So much is that. So we don't have to worry. The Pralaya is not going to happen very soon. But we don't have to wait for that. It's our job to get out of this place, because if we wait for that, we will be stuck here. So that's here explanation given how Brahmastra released. The power of Brahmastra is so much. And Prabhupada talks about the combination of both weapons, the Arjunas and Ashwathamas, so powerful. And the population, different planet began to feel the heat. Now, even the certain purples japa or the meditation also creates so much japa. We could read about Hiranyakashipu. When Hiranyakashipu was performing his tapas, he was standing on one leg with the right hand for thousands of years. And the heat generated so much that even the devatas in different loka, they felt the heat. They requested Brahmaji, please go and stop this guy. Because of his meditation, because his tapa, we are not able to stay here. That is the power of the mantra, the power of the meditation. So mantra is so powerful. Through mantra, Brahmastra can be released. Through mantra, the whole planetary system can be heated. That is the power of mantra. So here Prabhupada again talks about Samartaka. Even we remember Samartaka fire, Samartaka clouds. Remember Govardhan Leela when Indra, wanted to kind of destroy Vrindavan because the Vrindavan Vasis, Gokula Vasis did not offer him the sacrifice that year. Instead of that, as Krishna's advice, they went to Govardhan. So he sent Samartaka, the clouds, which is like by the time of annihilation comes. So the Samartaka is the kind of time of annihilation has happens. So, okay, so this is the point I wanted to share here. We'll move on to the next sloka. Who is going to read 32?
Archana Mataji.
Archana Mataji,
Yes.
okay, good.
Prajopadravam
Prajopadravan alakshya lokavyatikaram chattam matam cha vasudevasya sanjayadharjuna dravyam. The dvayam, not dravyam, dvayam.
Translation and purport by
Evangelist Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Raj
jai.
Ki Jai. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destructions of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons as Lord Sri Krishna desired. Purport: the theory that the modern atomic bomb explosions can annihilate the world is childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately, it all rests on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord. Because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. It is foolish also to think that the natural laws are ultimately powerful. Material nature's law works under the direction of the Lord, as it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says there that the natural laws work under his supervision. The world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord and not by the whims of any of tiny politicians. Lord Sri Krishna desired that the weapons released by both Drauni and Arjuna be withdrawn, and it was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of the all-powerful Lord, and by his will only can one execute what he desires.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So now Lord Krishna asked Arjuna, please stop this and releasing your Brahmastra, we withdraw both Brahmastra. So the point Prabhupada brings out is that everything works based on the will of the Lord. It's not that anyone like ordinary jiva can do. Even the great scientists or the great politicians, they cannot do it. Even if they disturb, very tiny disturbance they can do. But even that also, Lord's sanction required. Samanya, the proverb saying that even a blade of grass cannot move without the will of the Lord. Now, sometimes question may ask, if that's the case, if I do some mistakes, so is it Lord's will? Or is the Lord is making me to do it? No, it's not that. It's I'm desiring. Lord may fulfill my desire. But at the same time, you need to understand, without the Lord's sanction, nothing will happen. Like Krishna says, Prakriti Kriyamanani, Gunai Karmani Sarvasha, Ahankara Vimudatma Kartavya Itmanyate. I mean, out of Ahankara, Jiva thinks that I'm the doer. But it is not. It is happening the Prakriti, and that is sanctioned by the Lord. So throughout this purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about that even the great scientists, out of their imagination, they think annihilate the world. The childish imagination says. It is very childish. Of course, today's like some politicians, they fight, they leave bombs, they destroy here and there small things. Like in a house, the baby playing with the toys, they will destroy some toys here and there. But that baby cannot destroy the whole house. Similarly, these kings or the rulers as like a baby. They are destroying here and the small toys. But the bigger house is the whole the world. The ordinary kings cannot do it. The Prabhupada says they are tiny. They are tiny kings or tiny politicians because the will of the Lord is most important. Everything happens at the will of the Lord. So Lord will sanction provided we desire. So our desire is also important. Here, Prabhupada talks about that supreme will is topmost. The foolish to also think that natural law is ultimately powerful. So it is the supreme will is that is makes the Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita 9:10. He says, I'll just share the sloka here. He says, Swete Characharam. 1 second. I'll share the sloka.
Maya Dakshina.
Correct.
Prabhu,
Correct. Yes, Maya Dakshina. Yes, true. Yes. True. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparvartante. So the translation is that the material nature, which is one of my energy, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving things. Under its rule is this manifestation is created, annihilated again and again. He says this material nature, which is one of my energy, it's a very tiny energy for Supreme Lord, but that is also works under my adhyakshena, my control. Because we can see the millions of universes moving, millions of stars, millions of planets, everything works under his control and as per his direction. So that is the control, that is the direction Krishna gives. So here Prabhupada brings out that Krishna's will is topmost. So that's why we should have the complete faith that if Krishna want to protect, nobody can kill us. If Krishna want to kill, nobody can protect us. So that's why our ultimate surrender should be at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna, if you want to take me, yes, you am free. Krishna, if you want to leave me here, yes, I'm free here. So that should be the mood. We should completely depend on Krishna. Prabhupada says the world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord, not by the whims of tiny politicians. That's the topmost point we need to understand. At the end, Prabhupada says, similarly, there are many agents of all-powerful Lord, and by his will only one can be executed all his desires. There's so many agents, like the simple, the Guna avatars, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the Brahma, the mode of passion, who is into a kind of a creation. Vishnu, the mode of goodness, who was a maintainer. Lord Shiva, who has taken the mode of ignorance in the destroyer. So each one performs their duty. Similarly, so many other Devi Devatas, they perform their duties, but as per the will of the Lord, as per the direction of the Lord. That is the topmost point. So, like Brahmaji says that Ishwarha Paramakrishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana. Is that Ishwara? Is Sarva Karana Karana. Everything happens from him. Everything happens his direction. Is Anadir, is Adir. So that is Krishna, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whom we worship, and he is our protector. Next, somebody want to read 33?
Yeah. Prabhuji. Tata asadya tarasa darunam gautami sutam baba damarasya tamrak sab pasum rasanaya yata. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. Ashwatthama mother Kunti was Krupi was burning the family of Gautama. The significant point in this sloka is that Ashwatthama was caught and bound up with ropes like an animal. According to Sridhara Swami, Arjuna was bound to catch this son of Brahmana like an animal as part of his duty. This suggestion by Sridhara Swami is also confirmed in the later statement of Sri Krishna. Ashwatthama was bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kripi, but because he had degraded himself to lower status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal and not as a Brahmana.
Yeah. So now Arjuna has promised Draupadi that he will bring the head of Ashwatthama. He has taken a promise that I'll bring the head of Ashwatthama. You can stand on the head and then take bath. Then the sons can be cremated. I'll wipe your tears. Then your sons will be cremated. That's the kind of a vow Arjuna has taken. Now Arjuna bound Ashwatthama like an animal, like we see, right? The animal means not the pet animals, like the forest animals, they take it for killing. that kind of a bound, and you were dragging him. Ashwatthama was literally dragged by bounding the rope. So that's how we are bought. So that's why Sridhar Swami, one of the great acharyas in our Sampradaya, he confirming that because Arjuna was Brahmana, but he's called Brahma Bandhu because he was son of Drona. But since he did this heinous act, he has no quality, no qualification to call himself a Brahmana. He was called Brahma Bandhu. He's just son of Brahmana, but he is not Brahmana. He had no qualification of being Brahmana. So he deserves to be punished like this. So Ashwatthama was brought in a bounded manner, like an ordinary animal was brought. So, and here is son of Kripi also, Kripacharya's sister Kripi, they were married to Drona. So that is a point we mentioned here. Next sloka, 34.
I have allotted to Ashish Prabhuji.
Ashish Prabhu, not here, no?
I didn't come yet.
Okay, any one of you can read now.
Prabhuji, this was given to me and previous one. I will read this one.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Text 34. Shibiraya Nini Shantam Rajwabadva Ripum Balat Praha Arjunam Prakupitaha Bhagavan Ambuja Ikshana. Translation and purport by His Divine A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to angry Arjuna. Purport. Both Arjuna and Lord Sri Krishna are described here in an angry mood, but Arjuna's eyes were like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of the Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of the Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances. Hare Krishna,
Thanks, Mataji. Want to share some points?
Only what I could understand is, even if Lord is angry about his disciples, or about his the one who follows him, but that anger also is blessed.
Okay. So Krishna was really angry. Arjuna definitely angry because Ashwatthama killed his sons. Why Krishna was angry? Krishna was angry because his devotees are disturbed. Krishna says, Paritrana sadhuna vinashyasya dushrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So I'll come not even for dharma samsthana, not even annihilate the demons. I'll come to protect my devotees. Paritrana sadhuna, that's the topmost. So whenever his devotees are disturbed, he is disturbed. He gets angry. Like we see so many examples, like when Prahlada was disturbed, he came in Narasimha form. When Devaki and Vasudeva were disturbed, he came himself as Krishna and killed Kamsa. So many other, like Mother Sita was disturbed, Lord Ram killed Ravana. So many places. So when devotees are disturbed, he comes. So here, Upapandava was killed. That's why, and more than that, it is Draupadi who was in more suffering because her children. So Draupadi was a dearmost devotee of Lord Krishna. That's why Krishna was expressing his anger. And he says later, this Ashwatthama has to be killed. He deserves to be killed. He has no right to live. So but the Prabhupada brings out that the anger expressed by Lord and the anger expressed by Arjuna is different. Because Krishna's anger is not like an ordinary man's anger. His anger is also, kind of it's a kind of lotus-eyed, give an example. His anger is not like an anger of unconditional living. the mode of quality is because generally when we get angry, we go into mode of ignorance. When we get angry, we are not able to think properly. We are not able to, compose ourselves. Our words are not proper. Our thinking not proper. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna's at this stage also, he was transcendent and he is fully composed. So that is the point he said. So, and his anger and pleasure are the same. He is not bothered. He is not disturbed by the anger. But the point is that he is not happy with the Ashwatthama or he is really angry with the Ashwatthama. Of course, later we can see that. So that's why here mentioned that after binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. Personality Godhead, Krishna, looking on his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna. So next loka, Krishna speaks to Arjuna. So what this Ashwatthama should be done, how we should be dealt with that. So whereas Prabhupada says, therefore, even is angry, the object of anger is blessed. The unchanged and he is unchanged in any circumstances. So that is the difference between Supreme Lord and ordinary Jiva. Jiva is not, can be compared with the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is always Supreme Lord. Jiva is always Jiva. If somebody says, we'll also become Narayana, we'll also become Lord, that is not acceptable here. Okay, I think next purport is a little bigger. Should we read it or leave it for tomorrow? We can share some thoughts today. So we'll stop here. Devotees can share their realization comments, please. Okay, go ahead. Who want to share? Want to start? Alphabetic order. Okay, Asha Mataji, start from there. Yeah.
Prabhuji, nothing, Prabhuji.
Okay. Sumit Prabhu, did I miss anything? Anyone want to share? Please go ahead.
No, but we have covered all the points. So, like you said, even a blade of grass doesn't move without the Lord's will. So previously, I used to think like this is a phrase, just a phrase. But I heard a story. Radhesham Prabhu told a story on this. So once all the devatas, they won the war against the asuras, and they were very puffed up. They were thinking, "Oh, we are very mighty and strong, and we have simply won the war by our strength." And they were bragging about that to their wives and whatever juniors. So Lord understood that these guys are puffed up, and then he called all the devatas there, and he told Vayu, what is your strength? And Vayu said oh, I can move the very big clouds and whatever, even the when storm comes, and I can move even the houses and all those things. And Lord said, very good. Can you do one thing? I will place a blade of grass. You try to move it. We'll see. And Vayu thought, okay, this is what I can move mountains even. So he put all his strength, but that blade of grass was he couldn't even shake it. And then he was very ashamed, and he just do dandavat, and he went away from there. And then Lord called Agni and said, what is your strength? And Agni said, at the time of annihilation, I burn all the planets. And it's a lot of story he told. And then Lord says, okay, you do one thing, you just burn this blade of grass. And he tried also, and all the devatas were getting defeated, and they are just running away from there. And Indra was coming that side, and Mata Parvati was there. And he asked, why so much crowd is there? All the devatas, why they are there? Then Mata Parvati said, the Lord is actually telling, making all of them as humble. So if you if you don't want to get humiliated, you just go away from here only. So Indra just went back from there. So this is the real position. Like the devatas also think in that way, that their strength sometimes they get puffed up, but all their strengths are also coming from the Lord. So from there that saying is coming, that the blade of grass cannot move without the Lord will. So that was one point. And other things are same thing, even the destruction of the world or the creation of the world is done at the will of the Lord. So human can make a lot of plans, but ultimately it's the Lord will that prevails. So there is a saying, like it's a kind of joke, like if you want to make God laugh, just tell your plans to him. So then he'll say, okay, this guy is planning so many things, but he don't know what's going to happen. And one other thing is like one saying is like "Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare Kon." That is
Yes.
there. So ultimately, it's the Lord who will save and who will destroy. And another point is just by being born in a Brahmana family is not enough. Like in Ashwatthama's case, we saw like he's born to a very high class Brahmana, but ultimately you have to acquire the Brahman qualities to be called a Brahmana. We see on what state he was captured and he was taken like an animal. So that is because of his not acquiring, not practicing those qualities. And another point is that like in the last shloka we saw that Lord is absolute. His anger is not like that anger of a human being. His anger is not exhibited by the three modes of material nature. So even if he's angry, then the object of that anger is blessed actually. So all the demons we have seen, they got a good destination when they were killed by the Lord. So yeah, that's all, Prabhu.
Next, yeah, Archana Mataji. Anything?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, next, Ganga Mataji. Want to share something?
Yeah, Prabhuji. If we are doing anything wrong or good, it is all it's all from God's will. But even though if we are doing anything wrong that is not from God, that because we are desiring, that's why it is happening. And one more thing is like if devotees are disturbed, and if devotees are disturbed, even God will also be disturbed because it's devotees are get disturbed or troubled by somebody. So he'll always be there for his devotees. Like yeah, that is true.
Yes, Mataji. Okay, thank you. Lakshmi Mataji. Anything?
Nothing, Prabhuji. Everything happens at the will of the Lord. That is the gist, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Mariappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I think all points have been already consolidated by Prabhuji. And one thing what I have understood today is 4,300,000 years are ahead, and I should not be thinking that such a long period is available. And this definitely this world is not for enjoyment, and this world is already compared with a big toilet, and I must get rid of this world at the earliest possible. That is what I have understood, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Kushi Mataji, any other points you want to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Nothing.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ramesh Krishna Prabhu.
Nothing, Prabhuji.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Shailaja Mataji.
No, nothing, Prabhu.
Okay, Shruti Mataji. It's like a calling attendance. Sridevi Mataji. Anything? Last point.
Everything works according to the will of the Lord. That's what.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Everything works according to the will of the Lord.
Okay. Your internet looks very weak. Not able to hear you. Sridevi Mataji, I think your internet is weak. We are not able to hear you properly.
Everything works according to the will of the Lord, Prabhu.
Okay, sure.
Everything works according to the will of the Lord, Prabhuji.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, with this we'll end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyacha pratitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Anta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's meet tomorrow. Let's invite more devotees possible. And next sloka, please read and come so that everybody can discuss and add points to that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So anybody would
Thank you.
want Bhagavatam, please
so
let
much,
us know.
Prabhuji.
We can get the Bhagavatam also. Or anybody want to read Bhagavatam also online available, but preferably read Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam. Please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.